and welcome to a new episode of Digital Coffee Gaming Brew, and I'm your host, Brett Deister. If you could please subscribe to this podcast on all your favorite podcasting apps, leave a 5-star review, really does help with the rankings, and let me know how I am doing. But this week, we're going to be talking about Battlefield 6 open beta, early access beta, just the beta in general. I actually got in and played a few hours of it so far of this recording. I'll probably play more of it and then do some shorts of, because I've been recording it at the same time as well. But basically that's all it's going to be about, because that's the biggest thing going on right now. That's the latest thing. That's what everybody wants to know. So let's get on with it. That's good. All right, so there is a few things to talk about, and one specifically is cheating. So apparently there is some cheating going on. So it has been released. You do have to enable secure boot, which I actually had to do when I downloaded it. I was like, oh, I didn't know I didn't have it enabled. Now, some people are upset about this, which is perfectly understandable, but unfortunately, there are just so many hackers and people wanting to cheat on PC that it's kind of hard not to try to use other types of technology to just curb it in general. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 apparently is going to actually require secure boot as well. So it's not just going to be Battlefield 6. So if you guys are upset about that, you're going to eventually be upset about every single game coming out, because they're probably going to be enabling this for future events for competitive multiplayer, just because of you really can't stop it, but you can try to figure out how to utilize the technologies now to limit it. So there was a player that basically already did cheats on it. It looks like it was aimbots on this, and one of the DICE producers confirmed that the team was aware of the cheating issues and stated that a player identified as cheating has been banned. So they will be actually quick on this, and very quick on this, as to previous Battlefields where they weren't actually quick and they just didn't care. But the older ones, I'm talking about probably everything up to maybe 4, but Battlefield Bad Company 2 and further, I do know that on PC there were servers you could rent, and the mods would actually do a pretty good job of kicking out the cheaters. But since we've moved away from renting servers and everything, you really just don't have any type of power or ability to get rid of these, except for leave a server and find a new server. So they do have to figure out how to curb it. But the player did show a video claiming to show cheaters in the beta, with one clip receiving 5.8 million views because of their Javelin anti-cheat software that EA has implemented. So it looks like they figured out a way to cheat, but it looks like they may be pretty swift. Now, I do like how Marvel Rivals handles cheaters. They're pretty swift. They basically banned them for 100 years. Now it's a free-to-play game, so they could probably find a new email and then do it that way. But it is pretty swift. It is pretty harsh, but I'm fine with it being harsh because it's annoying to play with cheaters. They're just not fun at all. So also, the former president of Blizzard, Mike Ybarra, he talks about how Battlefield 6 will boot stomp Call of Duty this year. He basically said that, I've not been a big fan of Call of Duty. I think Black Ops 6 was just weird, and they've been slowly progressing into these weird collaborations that make no sense, given that they're trying to make this a serious military shooter, but then you have Beavis and Butthead, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Snoop Dogg, Nicki Minaj, and just a bunch of other weird stuff, American Dad, in the game, where it's like, this is weird and not really what I want to play. So people just do not like that COD basically turned into Fortnite, or I should say a group of players do not appreciate that. I'm pretty sure not all of them are upset about it. I'm pretty sure some of them don't care about it. It's just, I played the beta of Black Ops 6. I really wasn't that impressed with it. It felt like the same old, but I'm not the target audience. So I'm completely fine with it not being made for me. If you enjoy it, that's completely fine. I have no qualms about you actually liking it. It's just, from my opinion, it didn't feel great. So with that being said, I do feel like since 2042, Call of Duty has been more popular because DICE made a misstep. They made a few missteps, and it started with Battlefield 5 because of just what they tried to do, how they handled the audience, and then the audience's reaction to it. Battlefield 5 was a little bit of a misstep, but 2042 was a bigger misstep than Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 still felt like Battlefield, and there was a lot of good destruction with it, but Battlefield 2042, it's hard to find that unless you play like the Battlefield Bad Company 2 maps. That has a ton of destruction in it. But without that, you really can't find good destruction that is the hallmark of it. So will it curb stomp Call of Duty? Maybe. I'm not really quite sure about that. I mean, Call of Duty is a ginormous monolith of a game franchise, and it's hard to say if it will boot stomp, curb stomp, or completely destroy one game or another, because this is a rebuilding year for DICE again, because of how badly 2042 went and how badly the community was not happy with 2042. Now, if you enjoyed it, that's fine. But a lot of the old schools that started from Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 did not like 2042. I was in the middle. I didn't think it was the best one. It was okay. I did not like the specialists at all. I thought it was pretty dumb. And just the open system, not the best either. So with that being said, it was fun for a while, but the maps were the vanilla maps that launched, no cover whatsoever. I just think they didn't understand how to make 128 via 128 players, or 128 player maps, 64. But could it work? I always say it can work. You just have to have really good map designers to understand the flow and where the choke points are, and allow snipers to be snipers, but also allow cover so people can maneuver and do things and have types of tactical gear to mitigate some of that as well. So it was a lot going into it. It just did not work out. So that's why they went back to 64 player max on Battlefield 6. Now moving on to Battlefield 6 and my impression of it so far. So my pros overall, it does feel like a Battlefield game. It feels like the return of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2 with the destruction. It feels that way. It feels good. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the overall feel to it. I feel like it's a really good game from its bones. The destruction is way, way better than Battlefield 2042. I would even say it's better than Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 in the type of buildings you can destroy. You can't completely destroy it like Bad Company 2, which is a shame. And I do feel like you could do tactical destruction with destroying buildings and making sure debris falls in ways that makes it tactical. But I get what they're coming from, and I understand why they say this. So I'm not really like upset about that. Now the classes are back, and thank God. I do like classes. I think classes just need to be the formula for Battlefield moving on forward. They tried something new. It just didn't work. It just was not a good fit. It's for another offshoot game if they want to do another type of wacky Battlefield like Battlefield Heroes. But if it's a mainline Battlefield game, it doesn't need to be in there. Keep it to what made it popular, and the classes is one of them. The sound design is stellar. I can hear footsteps, like the roaring of the jets, the helicopters, the tanks. It just feels good. The snaps of the bullets. It just feels really, really good. Sound design is stellar, and just even the destruction and everything. Like DICE knows how to do this so well. That's why it's good to see them back into form on this one. For the most part, maps feel good. It's not like a super pro thing. I only like one map, and it's the map that has the jets and the helicopters. That's the only one I really, really like. The other ones are fine. It's just too cramped for me, but overall it's fine. I've not seen cheaters yet overall, and it does not take long to get into servers. I remember it was like saying when I finally got into it that there was like, I was like 4,000 in line and then 2 seconds I got in. So even if you're in line, it seems like you get in pretty quick, which is great. Tanks and vehicles are really fun to play, really fun to kind of maneuver. Even the jets and the helicopters are mostly fun. There are issues with not being really able to do anything on copters right now or helis because of just I'll have one of the cons be why it's terrible right now, but the vehicle play is great in general. Like it's easy to own, but it's also easy to die from just incoming fire. So it does have a really good balance. I'm not really sure about those mines on the engineer. I really haven't seen anybody really use them very well or being able to kill anything because you can obviously see it. So maybe they need some slight tweaks. But there we have it. Now the cons. The cons is the engineer should not be able to have RPGs and AA both equipped. I don't understand why that's a thing. That shouldn't have never been a thing. And that's a huge con because then there is no choice. It's like, oh, I can just shoot planes and shoot tanks and who really cares? So they really need to like lock that into one gear set. So you have to either do this one or that one because then it becomes just this AA like frenzy and you really can't fly at all. It's annoying. Now I know some of you on the ground are like, good. I don't like it when they like dominate, but you have to have that balance. Like it's not fair if you can just shoot tanks and shoot the air. You should only be able to do one or the other. And that should be the thing. Now, granted, not all the weapons and gear is unlocked because this is a beta, but that is one thing that you need to switch. Now, I will say that some of the flags need to be switched, especially my favorite one, which is the Rocky. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the Rocky one with the jets and the planes. The one side of it, it's really easy to shoot the helicopter because point F is really close to the uncap. And I do think they need to move that farther away or reposition that one spot because it's just too easy to shoot the helicopter because it spawns on the map. The only thing, the jets don't spawn on the map. You fly into it, but the helicopter does spawn on the map. And so if you spawn on the map, you should not be able to shoot it from point F. And it's too close to the uncap where you could just kind of like, and it's on high ground too. So you could just like shoot down at it. And I think that's a terrible map placement. I think they need to move that farther or move that uncap a little bit farther away. And there's enough room to do that. They just need to like reposition. They just need to reposition point F or take it out entirely and it'll be fine. But they need to reposition it or reposition it where it won't have high ground or put walls up or put natural rock formations that basically hide most of that map so you can't actually shoot into it. But that's my one critique about it. And again, it's really hard to fly a heli with all the AA spam. I think they need to figure out a way. And some of the AA guns are a little too close to the uncaps again. Like I said, it's just too close. It feels too close. And that's my main concern about these maps is that they feel way too close that it's hard to maneuver and do anything with the jets or the helicopters. It's just really easy to take them down. They really need to figure that part out where it doesn't feel like it's too close. I don't just get into the helicopter and I try to fly away and they get shot down immediately. It's not fun. No one will play the air vehicles because there's no point to them. If you just get shot down in 2 seconds, what's the point? Now, will we get better at this? Yes. I mean, it's a little difficult to fly helicopters. I'm still learning it. Every battlefield, it feels different when you're flying helicopters. So you just have to really get used to it. And so the other thing is the settings is a little too clunky. I try to do like, it took me a while to get to the inverted like air vehicles and turn that off. So that was one of the things that kept on crashing the helicopter. I'm like, I got to turn this off or I'm just going to keep on crashing. So that was the other thing in general that I didn't really like. The TTK could be or time to kill if you don't know what TTK is. The time to kill could be adjusted a little bit. I think it needs to be a little bit longer, maybe a second or two. But beyond that, it still seems fine. I think the light machine guns maybe need a tweak. The SMGs and the shotguns are a little overpowering at the moment. I think the LMGs are not as overpowering. Plus, I probably shouldn't be like in front lining it. It's probably more my fault, but that's fine. Do I like the additional primary weapon on Assault class? Not too much. I don't think it's really that needed, but I guess the trade-off is you don't get as much ammo for your weapons. So I guess that's the biggest trade-off. I'm indifferent about that one. It doesn't really matter. I think all the classes are pretty well balanced in terms of what you can do with it. And I don't think there's really much tweaking that needs to go in it. I think they do serve a purpose. I still do think the weapons should be locked. There should be a locked type of a thing. I think there should be some overlap with some weapons that anybody could choose. So if you want to be a recon with some type of machine gun or submachine gun or assault rifle or any type of that, then there should be a little overlap, or just put it in the DRMs, and DRMs are for everybody. Shotguns are for everybody. But I do think that assault should have like basically shotguns, DRMs, assault rifles. Support LMGs, DRMs, shotguns, engineers, SMGs. You get it. DRMs, assault gun. I think shotguns. I do think that's probably the better way of doing it. And so it's kind of locked, and you kind of have to like figure out a way to doing it and kind of learning the different classes and doing that stuff. But it's really up to the player base. So we'll see what actually happens. But I am overall enjoying it. I do think it's a really great introduction to how Respawn, Dice, Ripple Effect, or I mean Respawn, Vincent Pella, since he is overseeing all of this now, Dice, Ripple Effect, and all the other studios working on it. I think it's a nice return. I'm excited to see what people will come up with Portal, with a new Portal. Maybe we can finally get 2142 back. I missed that game. I missed Titan mode. I know they'll never really make it again. They tried once in Battlefield 4 and it never happened again because it wasn't as good as 2142's Titan mode. And if you never played 2142 Titan mode, you have missed out terribly. It is by far on par with Conquest, because Conquest is my other favorite mode. I'm fine with Rush, Breakthrough. I don't really care about them that much, but like Titan mode was like, that was my favorite one. I never played Conquest when it was Titan mode because you had the two big ships that you could maneuver around any of the maps. You could have players firing in the guns on it. You had to capture the missile silos and they would fire into the ships, and then you could you took the shield down, you can get into the enemy ship and try to take down the different little spots to eventually blow up the ship, or you could you could continue to capture the missile silos and have it done that way. So it was a really good mix of everything. It was basically after Battlefield 2, but it basically was almost the same engine. You had walkers, you had very futuristic tanks, you had little like balls that were mines that were magnetic that would like go with like run with the tank if a tank got too close. It was all great. A support ship, little attack aircraft. You had APCs that would shoot you up and over so you can get onto the aircraft that way as well. It was all great fun. And I think Battlefield 6, moving back to it, I think it will be a great addition to Battlefield. I think it will be a return to form once we get all the maps. I'm really excited to see what the bigger maps will do, because right now we've got really tight maps, and that's my one huge negative. It's just too tight. There's just not enough maneuvering to go around. All the city ones are fun, but I love Caspian Border. I love Gulf of Omen, Strike of, was it Karen? I love Arctica Harbor. These maps were bigger, maneuvering. You could do a lot more with it. But overall, I think this is a good return to form, and I'm excited to see what is going to be released when the full game comes out in October. But what do you think, guys? Are you on the fence about it? Do you miss Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4 still? Are you one of those that really, really loved 2042? Let me know in the comments below. I enjoyed all of them for what they were worth. I have my favorites. 2042 is a little bit lower on my scale, but let me know in the comments below. And thank you for listening to Digital Coffee Gaming Brew. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe to this podcast on all your favorite podcasting apps. Leave a 5-star review. Really just help with the rankings. Let me know how I'm doing. And join me next week as I talk about what's going on in the gaming industry. All right, guys, stay safe. Get to unlocking early access for today. If not, you can join it on this weekend as the open beta will be unlocked for everybody. Enjoy it and see you next week. Later.